There we go. And then I'm going to share the screen. So we're going to start here. All right. So I don't want to go into presentation mode so that I can just also control the rest of it. When we came up with this topic, it was because a lot of the time when you are at a school, it is most likely to have no resources. In the LTSM budget, a lot of money is being spent on textbooks, and too few is spent then on alternative resources such as paintbrushes, clay, and these are consumables because you'll have to reorder because you are using them. But the paintbrushes and palettes and things are things that can be reused. So 1 year you will order, for instance, 15 round brushes, 15 flat brushes, thin and thick, and then the next year you can add onto it. But the harsh reality is that some schools are ordering now different publishers. So they have textbooks, but then they will order now platinum instead of now shooters. So they are constantly spending the money on textbooks, and the teacher is sometimes not even using the textbooks because they are too few or the activities in there is too limiting. So we have to think out of the box. Now, remember, creative artists throughout the ages, and especially in South Africa, where the lack of access to resources was numerous, had to look around and see how we can use what is in our immediate environment to create art. So this session is just to open up your mind and also connect and rethink of things, relook. But are you really seeing? Are you observing? So whenever you have a time, just go outside, just take in, observe. What is it that I'm seeing? How is the light affecting what I'm seeing? What objects, what textures are there? What shapes are there? So you literally look and see and use the elements of art to take in your senses, and then let's look at the first thing that you pick up. For instance, most likely it could be a leaf or a thorn. So we get natural objects and material in nature, and then we get found objects and trash or rubbish or recycled items that can be used. Even broken items can be used in art. Now, just as inspiration also, observe. When you look closely at a leaf, for instance, and this is a dead leaf, some of these leaves are decayed. What line do you observe? Look at the monochromatic spread of the hues and tones of the brown and the camel. Now, when you look deeper, you can see there's ochre in there. There's a little bit of red, a little bit of orange, the dark brown, light brown, warm brown, even a touch of yellow. I can also see there is a black element also visible. So how are the lines? Are they straight? There are straight lines that are interspaced, but there are also curvy little edges that are here that almost looks like a map of an ancient civilization or a country. This could also remind you maybe of a bark on a tree, or it could be a road on the map. It could be also maybe reminding you of your skin or aged skin. So this is immensely important because this opens up the possibilities of what do you want to create, which part of what you're seeing can be used, the actual object, but also the observed elements of art. So you can always see here, look at the spaces. Yes, there's line, there's shape, some of it's filled and some of it's open, and there's a beauty in that. And the texture, I can almost feel the knobby texture and hear the delicacy of this spine of the leaf. And then how am I going to reinterpret this am I going to make a drawing? With what do I make a drawing? And this is where the conundrum is, because we are talking about resources. So I'm just going to stop sharing and uploading a video to you. This is a YouTube video, so let me just go down and see. We are here. I'll just go to the YouTube. Now I'm sharing what I wanted. Okay, let me go back to this, and let's see if it's going to play. So we'll go to our presentation mode. Let's see if it's going to open for us. I did put in the link. So we're going to go into YouTube, and we have saved now. So the one that we were using is the upcycling. So we said the upcycling. Sorry, just bear with me. There we go. So this is the one that we want to watch. I hope you can see this. I'm going to make it full screen.
As humans, we throw away vast amounts of stuff every day. It's broken, no longer useful, or because we simply don't like or want it.
However, with a bit of our time and effort, many items can still be useful.
It is upcycling. Does upcycling mean cycling up a hill?
No! It's turning old or discarded material useful and often beautiful.
It's like old wellies or jeans could have a new purpose.
It's certainly not a new idea. Some of the best examples come from the 1930s and 40s, when families may often have had very limited money or material resources.
People reused almost everything, repurposing items over and over.
For example, became dresses.
Or old doors became new dining tables.
During World War II, the government ran public campaigns to promote a make-do-and-mend approach to reusing things.
Why is
Upcycling can be great fun, as well as saving us money. The environmental benefits of upcycling are also huge.
our limited global resource, reducing the need to use raw materials and energy to make new products?
There'll be less air and water pollution, and fewer greenhouse gas emissions, which damage our planet.
Recycling.
Recycling old objects requires energy or water to break down materials. But upcycling mostly only needs our own ideas and effort, so it's much better for our planet. What are the different ways items can be upcycled?
Upcycling some items might need a bit, but there are plenty of simple projects we can do using everyday materials.
that look cool or even beautiful.
It's a great chance to get creative and have some fun.
Of upcycling.
Here are some simple upcycling and reuse.
Make desk storage from old boxes.
Make picture frames from rolled up paper.
Upcycling tin cans with a bit of paint or cover with paper and pieces of fabric.
Make a bird feeder from an old plastic bottle. Make a toy telephone from tin cans and string.
Hello.
What about repairing things?
Another way to put new life into old items.
Now events called Repair Cafe happening around Cumbria. These are free meeting places and they're all about repairing things together.
People for repair. For example, clothes.
At the cafe, there are generally all the tools and materials needed for simple repairs. Volunteers who have particular skills and experience are there to help the visitors do the repairs.
Hey, it works.
Meeting new people and socializing.
And they're also a chance to learn valuable practice.
So now that we've learned all about what upcycling is
And how it helps reduce waste,
let's have a go at some upcycling activities together in class.
Okay, so there you go. And this is just one of the examples of upcycling. But let's go back to what we are here for today. And this is how we can use our ATP in terms of looking at what is required by the curriculum and then what materials, because this is the list then, and probably see where we can replace certain items. So I'm going to just move to the ATP. Let me just stop here again, sorry for that. And then I'm going to share. We want to go to the ATP. So here we are. So this is grade 7 and, no, sorry, grade 9. But we can go to grade 7 easily enough. So you'll see that here is a 2D and 3D. And here is going to be drawing and or color media, explore a variety of media and techniques, art elements, the content and the painting is there. And remember, the program of assessment is saying you can either do an African mask for formal task, or you are going to do then the create in 3D, where you are going to make a construction of a sculpture of a clay figure or an earthenware figure. Here you can see the earthenware figure. So in grade 8, you start off with the graffiti, the choice between lettering and graffiti, which is your 2D. And then also the box, the mythological container, which will involve then either paper craft or what. So they're not specifying the material, but the end product, what it should be. Now for grade 9 mixed media, so this is very open. It's wonderful because then you can literally paint, you can paste, you can draw. It's a combination also of collage. It can also be an installation art. And then they are focusing on the visual literacy, which is the research and presentation. So when you go down to term 2 and 3, you'll follow the same process. So you're going to look at what is required and then how can I move, for instance, this is term 2, what is required for the formal task. And then from this, you are going to get your number of ideas for materials. So let me just stop that and go back to our presentation. Now, when we have looked at it, like for instance, let us take now the let's move on now to our clay figure. Remember in grade 7, the option was to create in 3D and then using clay or earthenware. Now remember that these are available in nature. Yes, you can make your clay from flour and water and salt. You can, because obviously we are talking about a scenario where there's no money. So most often near riverbeds and dry riverbeds, there are dried clay. So this is how it looks when it's unprocessed. And then ceramicists would then add water to fine to the consistency, but obviously you'll have to sieve it first. So this is demonstrating to you how the clay process is started, multiple times of thrashing it down, getting the air and the little bits of stone and debris out of it so that you can get to your clay. Here you can see that the teachers have been making the earthenware figures, and please also make use of your local artists in your community. Some of them have residents. So here you can see there are clay figures. Some of them started with the coiling method and the thumb pots. Some use the slab method where you would cut once you've prepared it, and then you attach it using slip and your hatching tool, and then making sure that your edges are then very tidy, your finger marks are removed. It's very important that before they go for firing, if you have a kiln available, otherwise drying them in the sun, but rotating them. But every time you attach, for instance, horns or arms or legs, or here the mug's ear, make sure that you roughen up the surface with your hatching tool, which could be a toothpick even if you replace it. You don't need the molding techniques or the molding tools that are available. Obviously, that's nice to have, but it's very expensive. You can look in your kitchen pantry, what is available. A lot of the time, the garlic press makes nice hair, for instance. If you want texture, a fork can also create nice even texture. So anything like a cookie cutter, etc., will be helpful. Then also you can use your baby powder and your maizena powder mixed with glue, which is a much cheaper than porcelain. And then you can cast, but obviously paper mache is also a different method, which you are going to use an existing plate, put your Vaseline over it, and you can also put Glad wrap and then Vaseline. Then you start tearing your newspaper strips. You'll notice that it has a grain, so you tear it where it makes natural, even reeds, and then you are going to use either wallpaper glue, or you can make a paste with flour and water, and then you're going to attach it in layers in opposite directions 6 times with a drying period in between. And then you can cut it evenly and remove the existing plate as shape once it's dry, and then you can start to paint it. Now, obviously, your designs then are first drawn on it, and then what to paint it with. Now, from shoe polish, remember, this is the kiln process. So they were using now the bisque and the slips and the decorating inks that is available. But for us, you'll see the color will come out once it has been fired. But in most cases, we don't have that. So you can use shoe polish, you can use food coloring to paint. Also, beetroot is a wonderful, once you've extracted the skins of the beetroot, you get a wonderful red color. And remember always that in the mud cloths in African culture, especially in the Peri culture, they are using a lot of browns and blacks because the charcoal and that was available. Paper plates, as you've realized now in the presentation at the Creative Arts Conference, is a wonderful resource. And sometimes they are thrown away. You can just then clean them up, and we are going to then use it in different ways because you can do a mask from that as well. And here you can see mobiles of, and this is part of the Imbali workshop that is a free, they come to your district or your school and they host a workshop for you. It's a free NGO that is available on Facebook, and also you can connect. They've got wonderful books, adventuring through art or into art, and they've also got a book with objects. I'm going to share the links in our group later on. So let's look at the recycled art. We'll get back to the lesson plan for the African mask. That was one of the items we've already spoken about, the earthenware figure. And then also just to look at what is possible, things that are thrown away, like your empty bottles. These days, once your groceries have been put away, you can find cereal boxes, you've got lids, you've got plastic bags that can be cut up and reused. Old CDs that are we used to write data on, wonderful for scraper board that you can see here. With a paper mache and even, let's say, also old tape material, box tape, you can create your mobile fishes. And this is all then part of your 3D sculpturing. The grade 8s in term 3 are doing attraction, which is your fashion. They will create a fashion item, accessories, but using recycled materials. In grade 7 also, they will make a object like a pencil case, a useful object using recycled materials. So here you can see with what they've decorated the trees. These are boxes that have been cut up, wool and egg containers and cupcakes and sweetie papers. Those are all the things that you're going to collect. So you will be going out and looking at trash in a different way. Each learner will then have his or her own look, see, and think box. And this is now also where you can look at using wire. A lot of the time you'll find exposed wire and box lids. And who would have thought that you can use a stocking, for instance, or paper mache? When you pull the stocking over and you paint it, now you have a wonderful sculpture. So this is just to indicate to you that one can really use anything. I'm going to move over to our, we've actually created a little lesson. I'm just going to see if I can get it from the Kami app. Let me download it here and see. Just bear with me for a moment and let's talk about it, because those empty cereal boxes can easily now be a container, and you can mark up the sides of it to say this is leaves, this is sweetie papers, and explain what it is. So I'm going to now just let me stop sharing and go to the presentation mode. Here we are. Okay, so when coming back to our main area of concern is what is it that we can use? When coming to clay, do we have alternatives? So I'll also share with you, we have a booklet of items, recipes in of substitutes that can be used. Tins, cutting shears. Now remember, some of these things you will buy incrementally, so because the tools can also be reused. So if you have a workshop at your school, maybe through technology, the teacher is also using some scissors and things, you can gather that. But depending on your learner's age group, you will decide on the danger and the use of the tools at the appropriate level of skill required. Always think of things in terms of green, because you will be cleaning up the environment, but you're also maybe going to think of instilling in learners the wonder in looking at a plastic bag, but seeing a crocheted handbag, or looking at the artist Buthelezi, which has used the plastic colored bags and a glue gun to create portraits that are huge and oversized, but thinking of objects in different ways. And let's continue to do this. I will also share with you some of the lesson plans for every term, and then substitutes in terms of alternative material. Your recycled object and look, see, and think storeroom or box will not be filled overnight. Normally, we will ask learners at the end of one term what is required for the next term, and then to ask them in the holidays to go and look through areas and see what they can find. A lot of the time, you will see me stopping next to the side of the road and picking up some twigs or whatever I can see that's available, and other people have discarded. And by now, it's well known in the community that I am in need of something. So old magazines, toilet rolls, they are dropping off, sweetie papers collecting, especially those of the Royal Secret sweets, which are nice and shiny. And even supermarkets, going to them and saying, if your sell-by date has reached for our school, can you donate some flour that is out of date? Because we're not going to use it to eat, but we can use it to make glue. You can go to your CTM. There's a lot of broken tiles that you can request for them to put in a box, and then a marginal price. I got about 50 kilograms of broken tiles for 100 Rand. And then this can be used in mosaics. So you have to also connect. So let's keep on talking about this. And I know you've got wonderful ideas also to share. So thank you. And it was wonderful meeting with you.